Welcome to Hey Clarity. I'm your host, Lindsay, and today we're opening the Akashic Records on the Aquarian Age. Thank you to everyone who voted in the poll. I was really excited that this one got chosen or was the top pick because I'm really curious. So the questions that we're going to ask, what is the Aquarian Age, to get a foundational question answered from the Akashic Records perspective. What are we experiencing as we transition into it? How might we create a smoother transition into it? What will we see in the Aquarian Age, collectively and individually? How will we benefit as a collective from the Aquarian Age? What challenges will we see as a collective? And then what's the most important message we need to know about the Aquarian Age? Let's get into it. First question, what is the Aquarian Age? They're saying an insightful time rooted in information and information. And they're saying wisdom, like they're showing the words knowledge and wisdom, and they're showing deep roots going into wisdom. Like wisdom goes deeper than knowledge. They're like both, but we go deeper into wisdom. It's like a grounded time. They're like rooting, settled, rooted, like knowing, having knowledge in a way, in a place that is rooted in depth and like a certain way of being. They're like settled, settlement. There's a lot around roots. And they're like creating like the next lineage of humanity. But it's rooted in wisdom and like knowing wisdom versus like just knowledge. And they're just showing this, like giving this feeling of like a comparison of like knowledge and wisdom and both, but how wisdom is just like rooted deeper in the depths. What are we experiencing as we transition into the Aquarian Age? What are we experiencing? They're like blown away, like blown out, blown up, like too much to handle. We're being like, they're like nervous system crackdowns, nervous system breakdowns, breakthroughs. Like we're having these very like explosive and implosive. They're saying expect more of that. And it's like there's the impact of the thing, the explosion or the implosion. And then it's like after the rubble, after the rumble, after the chaos, it's what comes next. They're like a most peaceful of times in some places. The places that are ahead of the time, the ones that they're saying ahead of times. And they're like, get ahead of the times. Get ahead of the times. Almost like get ready, like start being in preparation mode for the most peaceful of times. Start planning for it. What does it look like? How do you feel? Where are you in the world? What are you doing? Who are you with? Who's your community? What neighborhood are you living? What are you all doing? And so they're like, what we're experiencing as we transition into it is like, for example, it's like blast, an explosion, and then people hurrying away from that explosion, and then where to go? Where are they going? So what we're experiencing is like an impact of something and then movement elsewhere. Is it elsewhere in the country? Is it elsewhere in the world? There's a lot of movement. Where are you going? Where to go? So the transition is like lots of movement, lots of motion, lots of emotion, meltdowns, breakdowns, breakthroughs, hard times, cracked down, cracked open, breaking through. Anything else around that? What are we experiencing as a transition into the Aquarian Age? They're saying hard times. And they're showing like a newspaper. They're like, look at your newspapers. A lot of it is fixated and focused on the hard times. However, there's more. There's more. And they're saying like better times coming soon. And get ahead of the times and plan for that. They're saying bank on that, invest in that, invest in the good times ahead, invest in the good things you want to see in the world. It's like we're nurturing this garden of the future, and we're planting all of these seeds, and we have to water it. And they're talking about like warmth in the soil and air in the soil, and not getting too soggy, and not getting too soggy is like emotional, watery, but like allowing some air in there, aerate it, nurture it. Like they're showing how like symbolically tending to the soil for the future, and like our dreams and our plans, our achievements and our accomplishments in the future. What are they? What are you doing? Where are you going? What are you building? And it's like, keep focusing on that, because they're saying the garden grows exponentially if you are watering it over time. They're saying there's no fast track, because when something's done right, when something's done well, when something's doing well, it took time. We didn't cut corners. We are rebuilding and building slowly. They're saying there's slow movements of education and reflection and time and paying attention and observing and listening and studying and researching. And so that foundation of what you're building, what we're building, is rich. The soil is rich for all of the things that we want to grow in this future garden to grow. And so this is a time, they're saying, like, of manifestation, of dreams come true in the future if you are planning your strategy now. So they're like, what world do you want to live in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 50 years, 70 years, 80 years? Like, they're just going like through a lifetime. What do you want the world to look like? And where do you need to be to really do that for yourself? What community do you need to be in? They're like, community build, community rebuild. Your people, where are your people? You are the people of the future. You are the people in the future, in this present moment. What are your plans? They're saying like the navigation mode, like getting into like navigation mode of like movement and getting really real with yourself. They're like, with the movement, with the motion, with the emotion, really ask yourself deep into your soul, where do you go? Where are you going? Can you move? If not now, when and where? Do you feel like you are in the right place, and yet you want to be calling in your people to where you already are and build from there? Or do you recognize that the soil is not very enriched where you are, and you feel, they're saying, like shadows and darkness, and it's feeling very unhealthy where you are? And so now it's like, do the researching for the movement. You're moving. Where are you going? And they're saying, maybe start localized, nearby, in the country, in the state, whatever. But then they're saying, you might be surprised that your heart really wants to take you to another country, another continent. And so getting really clear about where in the world do you want to live. They're like, for your life style for your life's work, neighborhood, community. What does it look like? What are you doing every day? Who are you bumping into on the street? Like, I'm just seeing someone really happy where they live, and us getting really real with ourselves about where we're living and do we really want to be here? And to start, they're saying, daydreaming of a life in the world somewhere where we have our perfect lifestyle, our ideal lifestyle. Where are you? What are you doing every day? How might we create a smoother transition into it? They're saying dreaming and daydreaming. Daydreaming. Like right now, it's like they're telling us it can be a reality. Like your highest perspective of your life and yourself, your biggest dreams. They're like otherworldly, like whatever they are, like you can create it in this world in so many ways, like more now than ever because of like modern technology and innovation and invention and all these cool things that we have access to. They're saying you have so much accessibility. And so plant seeds for like your highest and biggest dreams come true. And so right now it's like a little bit of how to create the smoother transition is like give yourself some time to like tap into that force field of that future lifestyle, of that future world, and you in it. Seeing yourself in it. Where are you? So they're saying this is a time of daydreaming because we have a hard time breaking out of this reality consciousness of doom, gloom, dead, war, violence, suffering, pain, the end of times, like the fixation, and we're so fixated on it. And obviously like media, the hypnotization of media, the hypnotization of our modern technology and our phones just sucking us in all the time. They're saying like sharing all these impossibilities versus like inspiring all the possibilities. So our hard work right now is allowing ourselves to daydream. Our hard work right now is like breaking out of this, they're calling it a false reality that we are, collectively building on because we think that these are the only ways it's going to be. And they're like, that is not true. It is so not true. But we will create that if we believe in that system. If we believe that that's what's going to happen, we're just going to subconsciously and then consciously start to create that world. So the hard work right now is imagining the world that we want to live and how we want to live in it. And what are we contributing? What are we doing? Who are we with? Where are we going? What's the environment? They're like people, place, work, life. There's a lot around like neighborhoods and people and like your everyday life. What does that look like? 1 to 2 years from now, 5, 7, 10, they're jumping numbers, 20, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, like they're just going right out. Okay. What will we see in the Aquarian Age? Collectively, individually. What will we see in the Aquarian Age? They're like, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. The wake-up call, the wake-up calls, the awakenings. And they're like many of you woke up earlier than the others. And there's waves of just eyes opening. I get it, I get it, I get it, I get it. Everybody gets clear. These waves, they're like, there's a little one and then a big one and then a little one. And they're trying to be like these waves of like wake-up calls are trying to be as gentle as possible. But they're like, so many human beings are unconscious. They're showing like a hamster on a wheel. Just gotta get by, getting by, gotta get by, gotta do this, gotta run through this system. This is the world we live in, da da da. Versus like the hamster hopping out of the wheel and being like, oh, there's other places to be besides like on this wheel. Like I can go in that direction, I can go in this direction, I could do this, I could do that. And they're like once the hamster gets off the wheel, like they're a little wobbly because they've been on the wheel for so long. They're like, you know, a little scared. Like I don't really know what to do outside of this wheel. But this is kind of what these wake up calls are. And it could come from these like force fields, these energetic, like literal experiences, current events that like blast us off and out. And again, these eyes, like big eye, open. I see it clear. I see it clear. I see it clear. So this is what's happening. What we see in the age for the collective, it's that. They're saying we'll get clear. So individually, what will we see in the Aquarian age? More possibilities, like infinite possibilities. And sometimes that can be like too much to handle. So once we kind of like break through and like break out of this doom, gloom, collective consciousness, suddenly it's like when you can do anything or create anything, the overwhelm that comes with that. Like what comes with a blank page? Some people get really excited about what they put on a blank page, and some people are just like stuck, stagnant, have no idea what to do. They even said like disturbed by a blank page. Some people feel disturbed. They're saying the disturbed, like that word specifically could be like a reset, a resetting. People might feel that this reset or resetting is disturbing. Maybe not know, like there might not be a basis or a basic foundation of what we're building on because it's something new possibilities, new ideas, innovations, inventions, etc. So it's like a mix of like those who are like ready to be innovative and creative and explore the infinite possibilities, the endless possibilities, and those who are like frozen or like freeze up in like the idea of like it's too much to handle, that we can do anything. Like what does that even mean? So where are you in that idea? When you think about like, oh my God, like we could do anything, like there's endless possibilities, like this can go in any direction. How do you approach the idea of a blank page or a blank slate? And then you'll get a sense of like how you'll handle this transition and how you may experience the Aquarian age. How will we benefit as a collective? Can you be clearer? I don't know how to explain what I'm seeing. They're like, exactly. How will we benefit as a collective? Okay, this is what they're showing me. I'll try to explain it. They gave me the word modern technology, and then they like had modern technology lumped into like these like, oh my God, like these like gadgets and things, and like modern technology is like these little metals and all the elements that go into creating modern technology. And then it's like rolled, they're saying encased in like almost like a gel, like a barrier, like a buffer. So that, but it's transparent. It's like lodged into like a clear jello kind of thing. And it feels like a protection or a barrier focus around our technology. Modern technology, We create barriers around it for our protection, for the protection of the people. So they're like, the hindsight is they're showing our like sensitivity to technology. They're like wires and electricity and, you know, through our eyes and what it does to our brain, like all the mental and emotional unhealth that came from all this modern technology without like a buffer. So there then becomes all of these new gadgets, new ideas, new ways of using modern technology, creating modern technology, inventions, innovation, creativity, adaptability. And it has like this jelly kind of buffer around it, a barrier that is for our protection, for the protection of people, so that we are not so painfully impacted by it on a regular basis. And with the innovation and invention, it is only with hindsight that we see the repercussions of what we've created. And so there's a little bit of like backtracking and being like, okay, over 20, 50 years of this technology, we see what it's done to generations of people. That's not right. That's not good. That's not okay. This is not going to work for us in the future, for the future of humanity. We need to make some changes. And so again, it's like these gadgets get symbolically, these gadgets get put in this like protective layer so that we are not, they're saying imposed upon, so that we don't absorb almost like the electricity, the force field, and the energy of it so intensely. So how we benefit as a collective? Protection. They just said from ourselves. Ooh. There's more protection for ourselves from ourselves. Like they're like smart intelligence studies, like we put in place, there's like these landmark benchmark like notices and notifications of just like, this causes harm, this is for, you know, protective measures. There are just more barriers encased around our modern technology. What challenges will we see as a collective? Say that again. I'm hoping that's not what they're saying. What challenges? They're saying more wars, violence, scared, coming from places of fear, fear for the future, fear for the children, fear for future generations. They're like, hold up, back up, stop. Something about, you can't do that, you can't do this without our permission. So it feels like there's like oppression, and like imposed upon the people, the everyday people, versus like the wealthy obsessed. They're like billionaires, like these individual they're like 1%. And they're like, who are they? Why do you matter? Why do they matter? Why do they matter more than you? What do they do that's so great in the world? What is their contribution to the world? And they're saying there's a lot of self-hatred in those types of billionaires. They hate themselves so much and they take it out on other people. There is a flip side. There is another population of wealth, of wealthy people. It's almost like 0.5 of the 1% self-hate. The other 0.5 of that 1%, philanthropists, believing in humanitarian efforts, opening charities, supporting education, traveling the world, helping where they can. There's more of that than you think. There's more of those people than you think. But that 0.5, like the 50% of the 1% of the billionaires are so troubled. There's so much self-hatred. And they're like cause and effect. And those people cause a lot of problems. But they want to remind us that they're saying there's more of you out in the world. But that those unhealthy, wealthy people seem to get more attention than they deserve. And there's a little bit with them, there's like a hide and seek, like hide and seek. They feel like they really like infect and poison humanity, being such a small population of the world. And it's like this feeling of like this like black gray stuff going into my veins from this small part of me, but it's enough to poison the whole system. And they're saying like the remedy is for the mass population, the collective, the everyday people they're just saying we're the remedy. And like what we accept and reject in our communities, in our neighborhoods, in ourselves, in our lives from that poison is up to us. And they're showing this like small percentage, again, infecting, but so like the masses are so much bigger. And almost like this remedy kind of like pushes the poison out. But we really have to not let them poison us. They're like your minds. You can't let them take over your minds. And so you really have to stay focused in your communities, in your neighborhoods. And the question is like, you know, how am I contributing to my community? How am I treating the people in my neighborhood? How am I helping? How am I showing up? How are we showing up for each other? And that's essentially the remedy of just like, they're saying, do your thing and do the right thing when you can and do your best. And that best is good for you. And it's good for the other people who are in your community, in your space, in your world, in your neighborhoods, in your state, in your country. And they're just showing this like ripple effect of like everyday people doing amazing things for each other. So they're like, stay together, which is what they said in the Winter Solstice 2024 reading. They kept saying, stay together, stick together, everyday people. And believe and know that there are people with a ton of money who are helping the people, who are helping you, but they're not like loud and proud about it. They're very humble and very quiet and very silent, and they just do it. They just do it, and you don't know them and you've never seen their faces, but they just do it. And you never know when you'll receive, they're saying payment, when you'll receive something good for you, something that supports you and benefits you, what you need in your time of need, when you're desperate, when you're vulnerable. You don't know. And so they're like, another issue with like everyday people is like, we don't always know how to ask for help when we need it or when to ask for help. And so they're saying, get honest with yourself. You're going to start getting honest with yourselves of when like you really can't handle something's really too much, and you're going to reach out to your people. You're going to reach out to your community. You're going to start connecting and networking. I need help with this. Can you help me? I need help with that. Can you help me? And people just helping each other where they can. And they're saying like exchanges for that support and showing up and help is going to come in many forms. Is it I trade my service for your service? Is it we exchange funds? We exchange money? There are going to be so many different levels of exchange, but like reciprocity is the key, right? It's like, or obviously they're like, if you're in such a desperate, vulnerable place where you can't, but someone can lend a hand to you and they will, then they're just like all this, just like lifelong love from the heart just is like birthed from that place of just like, that person helped me when I was in, you know, at my worst, when I was in my, you know, darkest, most needed place. And I'll never forget them and I'll love them forever. And they're saying that's priceless, to have that bond, that connection of just like truly just like helping each other. They're like saving each other together when you need to. They're like, it's lifelong. These are lifelong bonds and connections. And it's like, you know, I don't know, there's something about owing and exchange, they're saying. Sometimes that's necessary, but you're going to feel into that with people. We're going to feel into that with each other. So the challenges, what challenges will we see as a collective? One more time. Just this like half the percentage of the 1% of billionaires really just poisoning things for us. Infecting. They're like, it's an infection. It's a small infection. And they're like, yeah, but like the everyday people are the antidote. You're the remedy. You're going to fix it. You do not have to accept what's coming from that direction. You do not have to drink the poison. You don't have to believe that the poison is infecting your life. You can say no. They're like, as best you can when you're confronted by it, when you realize that that's something that, when it becomes clear, there's something about it becoming clear how this small percentage of the population is really poisonous and infecting like everybody else. What's the most important message you need to know about the Aquarian Age? They're like, begin again, have fun. What's the most important message we need to know about the Aquarian Age? It's like innovation and invention at its peak for a long time. And all these cool ideas, big ideas. Cool, they keep saying cool ideas, clever. Smart, intelligence, education. Empowering the everyday people. Like, the everyday people are empowered because we begin to realize that we know better, that we have higher intelligence. And they're like, that's something to note from the previous age. Have you not noticed just how much more intelligent you are than some populations that are getting all the attention? When you look at it and you're like, that grown person who has this, they're like hierarchy position, is like a 6, 7, or 8-year-old child. And it's embarrassing and it's humiliating that is someone on a pedestal, that's a role model. They're like, we're looking at these heads, these figures, these public figures who are supposed to be running and controlling and taking care of things in these high places, high positions of power. And yet someone's like, my child is smarter than you. My child knows more than this person. And so they're calling this kind of like a crackdown. This is like a crackdown of just like their they're not role models. Those are not role models. And they're like minimal, minimum, minimize. Minimize them in your mind, in our minds. Remind ourselves that that singular or like group of people, small groups of people, are not your boss. Even if they hold these high positions of power, and they're calling them kind of false, right? They're like this falsehoods and faulty high positions of power. They're like, it's ridiculous. But they're calling it the dead age. So the previous age, they're calling it the dying age, the dead age. What we are recognizing from it is just that, like, many of the everyday people are just so much more intelligent and capable than these figures who are in these like higher positions. And they're like, and the downfall of those people, like the recognition of their failures in their positions. They're just like trash. Like they're showing almost like one of those people standing on a platform, and then it opens up and they fall through it into like the garbage. Like these people are trash. They're trash and they're being trashed. And they're like, they've been taken way too seriously. They've been given in our minds too much power. If we believe that these people have power, then we allow them to do the things that they're doing. But it starts like in your mind, like this person has no power over me. I don't even know this person. How does this person affect my everyday life? And they're like, they can affect like functioning systems for sure. But on an individual level, our choices every day of how we treat each other and how we help each other is up to us. For example, they're saying someone in government can say they are now controlling the education system. They are now controlling the medical system, healthcare system. And all these things are put in place. But from person to person in that room, in those classrooms, in those doctor's offices, doctor-patient, teacher-student, what you do one-to-one is the empowerment. That's the power. Loopholes. They're like, find the loopholes. Do the right thing. And they're like, do your right thing. Do your right thing. But on an individual level, they're saying the masses impact more every day. So this is kind of like the rolling effect. This is what's taking place right now. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Okay. I don't know, I'm kind of like, I'm getting excited about it, but I also I feel like they're saying hurdles. Like I can really feel how those are going to be some very big hurdles. So it is really important to have this heads up and to get ahead of the time. So right now, even in this reading, they're saying it's like, just kind of digest this, like take it all in. And they're like, we made it bite-sized for you and like gentle and gentler for you, because these explosions and implosions and these blasts are going to catch you off guard, and it's going to throw you off, and you might not believe in this future. So it's really important to set a high standard for ourselves, for yourself. And like maintain this plan, this strategy, these dreams come true in the future while these things are happening. They're like, hold on to your dreams. Keep nurturing. Don't give up. Keep going, keep building, keep moving and finding your people. Do not throw in the towel. Do not believe that they are winning. That poison, that infection that's going to become apparent, we're going to think it's bigger than us on purpose. That's what they, this 0.5% of the 1%, wants us to believe. They want us to give up. They want us to give in and throw in the towel and give up control to them, to feel disempowered, to feel hopeless. And I feel like a lot of that is going to be coming through like media. And we're going to have to work hard to disengage and to focus on our communities and our neighborhoods right in front of us, and to focus on your projects. What are you building? Your businesses. What are you working on? Who are you working with? Focus on real life, they're saying. Focus on in real life, your life, every day. Your friends, your family, where you're moving, where you're living, 2 years, 5 years, 10, 15, et cetera, down the line. Just stay focused, keep focused on your dreams. They're saying dreams come true. Dreams come true, your dreams become reality. And that's the big takeaway here, is to keep those dreams alive and keep working towards them. And don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on each other. Stay together and believe that your dreams are going to come true, and like nurture and enrich that soil for all your seeds to be planted. Okay? Okay. So that was the Akashic Records on the Aquarian Age. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. That was a lot. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.